Are we still calling these lists in and out? Or are we calling them what I do and don't like in fashion right now? I don't know. Anyway, it's not necessarily what's trending in fashion right now that I want to talk about. It's what I am excited and not excited by, what I do and don't like. Hence the video title. It's a Sunday, okay, don't judge me. My brain's not working. So yeah, things I think that are cool this season and things I think are not. Let's get into it. Before we do, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. If you're new here, my name's Katie. I talk about sustainable fashion, personal style, and just generally like fashion news discourse. So if that sounds good to you, then subscribe, like this video, and let's get into what we're talking about today. I have these written down, but I might go off tangent a little bit. Yeah, this list is definitely going to be a mix of like fashion items and then just like in general what's inspiring me in my life, because I feel like I'm on a personal style journey and people often talk about how fashion is like not about fashion. It's not about clothes. It's about like everything around fashion and how that comes through in your clothing. So it's like the music you're listening to, the shows you're watching, like what's happening in society, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the basis of this list. It's like some fashion, but also just like in general things that are inspiring and exciting me. First, big fat like, is knee-high boots with like taller, thicker socks, like peeking out the top. Oh my gosh, I just think it's so chic. Like I think it's such a cute way of layering and something you can get really creative with. You could choose to do colored socks if you want to do that. It works with like so many different shoe formats, like even a loafer with like thicker, chunkier socks, like paired underneath, and like, you know, even splitting up tights. Just a really good warming layer, but still so stylish. So yeah, that is on my likes right now. Dislikes. I'm not one for like animal prints. I didn't like it when leopard print started trending at the beginning of this year, like into summer. It just did not interest me whatsoever. Didn't want to buy anything. And I feel like cow print is now replacing leopard print. And I hate that even more. No, that's a lie. I think cow print's cooler, but I still don't like either of them. And I think they're just like really trendy things that are going to burn out in a couple of weeks. I know some people view leopard print as a wardrobe essential, a neutral almost. I've seen tweets of people calling it that. That's not true for me. It's definitely not my style. And I do just think it's like a TikTok trend that people are jumping on and will get tired of really quickly. So cow print is an absolute no for me. Except, okay, the one exception I could think of is like a phone case, because I do think that would look quite cute. And, you know, because it's brown and white, it's quite a good like neutral, would go with anything. So like I am prepared to eat my words if there's a cute phone case like that is in cow print, but in general, no. Next is berets. Am I gonna get one? No. Do I think they look so good for people whose style it is? Yes. Like I think they're so chic and so like fashiony. Like, you know, I just feel like any outfit looks so stylish with a beret. Like, and any kind of like statement hat, I guess. I think you have to be fashiony to pull off a statement hat and like make that work. So like berets are just another form of that. This still counts as the same one, but hair clips. Because I think a lot of us neglect our hair when it comes to outfits. And like there's that whole TikTok discourse of like hair theory and how it immediately makes you have personal style. It's something I definitely neglect. So like I've been paying a lot of attention to hats and hair clips and like just stuff to like jazz up my hair. Next is taking care of my clothes and enjoying the process of it. Because I have enough sweaters in my wardrobe now that are hand wash only, that I feel like it's become a little bit of a chore every time I wear them, knowing that I have to wash them by hand later on. It's kind of making me a bit more hesitant to wear them, which I don't like. So I'm trying instead to find joy in washing them and caring for them and like doing that like process and like taking time out of my life to hand wash my clothes and like give them that love. Like I'm looking into buying myself a debobbler for my sweaters, which I know is like a wardrobe essential everyone should have, but I don't have. And like I have never felt the need to before, but like now I'm like, well, I want my sweaters to last, so I need a debobbler. And also I've been seeing more content online about how to lengthen your knitwear's life. And apparently like there are fabric soaps that you put in when you store your clothes for the winter that stop like moths eating away at them. And I've just been loving that. And there's like some really like aesthetic ones that you can buy. And yeah, just like that kind of stuff where it's like, instead of coveting new items, I'm paying attention to what I have and really trying to romanticize the process of like owning something and looking after it. Dislike is the Miu Miu chewed nails trend aesthetic thing that was going down the runway for their show. What is that? If this becomes a trend, then I am giving up. Like no, it's a no for me. I can't even talk about how much I don't like it. So we're moving on. Okay, I kind of mentioned this in the other like, and I've mentioned this on my podcast too, but embroidering. I'm obsessed with the idea of embroidering something I own or like something a loved one owns and like gifting it back to them. I've been thinking so much about what I could do this for in my wardrobe, like embroider like my initials or my partner's initials, or like, I don't know, just like a little cute slogan somewhere, or like gift something for someone's next birthday that's like hand embroidered. It's just so cute. And like, again, that little like idea of putting a personal touch on something and like caring for it and revamping it in a new way that I'm really trying to like romanticize and place above a new item. Do you know what I mean? This kind of signals to me just something so personal and something so sentimental in clothing. On the other side of my columns, barn coats and like house coats trending. I don't know how much big barn coat is paying Vogue, but they have been pushing barn coats non-stop this year, and I hate the concept. I don't know what it is. I guess it's like the narrative they're pushing of like, oh, this is a coat that you can wear around the house, you can wear around the farm, you can wear in the city. Just this kind of like go-to everyday coat that is like a shove on and go, like you don't have to care for it. It's just this kind of narrative of buying something new to make it look like you haven't cared about what you're wearing, and it's like an old coat but it's new. Does that make sense? It's like, oh, I just shoved on my old farm coat to go into the city kind of vibe. And it's like, well, everyone knows you didn't. Like everyone knows that's a brand new designer item. Like it's a very overpriced, overhyped trend that I think has come from the runway rather than TikTok. And the runway are trying to like make cool. They're trying to make barn coats happen, and barn coats aren't gonna happen. Maybe it's working on another target market, like not Gen Z, but like young mums and stuff. I don't know. I don't really have any young mum friends to know if they're going out and buying barn coats, but I am not buying a barn coat. Next on the like column is big chunky statement glasses. And I guess it's because I have been told recently that I need to buy some more glasses. And like I've been seeing more and more statement glasses everywhere. It feels like when I last bought glasses like 8 years ago, there wasn't a lot of options for the kind of style I wanted of like very like rectangular, thick kind of, I had to buy from the men's section, if that like tells you the state of eyewear at the time I was last buying. But now the style has caught on to my style. So it's exciting for me to like be able to go to all these opticians and find loads of frames in the women's section that work and are in cute colors. And I'm kind of like really enjoying the process of picking out my new glasses because I know that I'm gonna keep them for, well, I had the last ones for like 8 years. So like this is a long-term investment for me. And I just feel, maybe it's because it's on my brain, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of like statement eyewear online, in person, on the runways and stuff. And that's just kind of like, I think it's like an underrated fashion accessory, you know, like it's an underrated personal style indicator. Yeah, I guess I've just been getting excited about the idea of like buying new glasses and what it says about my personal style right now. It also kind of feels like it's a lot of pressure though, because it is like a known thing that like glasses equal personal style. So I'm kind of feeling the pressure of like picking the perfect frames and like making sure that they'll work for me for a few years. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm not liking manufactured personality indicators online right now. I feel in general there's this like macro trend going on social media of like trinkets and like very shoppable personality indicators, if that makes sense. And I love the like bare concept of it, like the base concept of like people showing off their personalities based on like what would drop out their bag and stuff. Like that is cute. But I don't like how shoppable the content is. And I did a whole video talking about this on my channel if you want to go see that, because I have a lot more thoughts. But I wanted to include bag charms on my dislike list because I feel like it's kind of creeping into the personal style discourse a lot more. Like people are paying more attention to like what's on your bag as a very easy way to get people to purchase stuff. I've seen TikToks online that are like, well, if your bag isn't customized, then you don't have very good personal style, or like not saying that, but like that is the general sentiment. And I don't like that because I like a very clean bag. I'm not a massive fan of having things hanging from my bag. I think my personal style is like a clean bag look, but like it feels like the pressure is to have a very like messy bag with stuff hanging out of it and stuff. And I think a big reason for that is because people know that they could like link bag charms being sold right now and say like, oh, well, if you do want this aesthetic that is very personal style, then you can just go buy it. I guess my negative thoughts aren't towards bag charms per se, but like how they're being positioned in society. Okay, another one that's not really fashion, but kind of is coffee table books. I think these are so cute, and I've been seeing them a lot on social media again as like a trend. But I just think they're so sweet. Like the idea of doing it for, I don't like the idea of doing it for everything, like having one for like each trip you take and like, I don't know, each special day is a bit much for me. But the idea of doing it for like your wedding, so cute. And I think a little bit chicer than like just having framed photos up all over your house, because obviously like you can't frame every single photo from your wedding. This is just a very nice way of like having those memories close at hand without covering your walls in them. I also just think it's a really cute like creative outlet for people right now. Like, I love it when things like this trend on social media and it's less about buying and more about expressing yourself and expressing and like DIYing and like letting your creativity come through. I love any kind of trend like that over, oh, this is what I'm buying and this is, you know, the latest trend. Yeah, counter that on the dislike column is Fashion Month. And this is new for me. This is like new feeling. But Fashion Month to me now is just too much consumerism. I don't know if I'm like maturing, if my 25 years of being on this planet is finally catching up to me, but I just don't like the anxiety I get around the month of seeing so much consumerist content like delivered to me. There's just too much clothing. There's too much clothing all in one short amount of time. And like, I feel like no one really likes it. Like the fashion crowd who go to every single show always talk about the burnout they feel at the end of the month and like just being tired and needing to recuperate. I don't think the designers like it either. Like it's a lot of pressure. I just think letting designers do the show on their own terms, on their own schedule, would be so much better for their creative process. And I also just think it would be better for consumers. Like we could pay attention to each new collection a lot more if it wasn't all bombarded at us at once. So yeah, Fashion Month is on my dislike list this time, but I feel like this sentiment is just only going to grow as like society continues to like fall apart around us. It's like almost dystopian that we're still having Fashion Month. One new thing on my list that I haven't really done before this is using really random pictures as like color palette inspo. Like I saw this picture of a house on social media the other day and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, imagine this color palette on clothing. How sweet would this look? Like, how could I recreate this? And I don't know. I guess that's just new for me, like finding inspiration outside of like typical obvious forms, like going on TikTok, like going on the Pinterest, like fashion category. Like being able to look at a picture of a house and translate that into clothing is new to me and it's exciting. Okay, this is the last dislike thing on my column and it's blazer lengths. I just think that I never really like the length a blazer hits on my frame. And I often do, to be fair, get like oversized blazers. So maybe this is kind of on me, but I have a couple of blazers in my wardrobe. One is a wool one is a leather one. And I've just been thinking about the idea of getting them cropped so they like come up at my hips, and I just think they would sit better with like jeans, which is what I wear 90% of the time. I don't know, I think there's something unflattering about a traditional blazer length on me that I don't like. And it's kind of a controversial opinion because I know a lot of people like blazers and they're like a wardrobe staple, but they don't work for me. So yeah, I've put them on my dislike list, and I'm thinking about getting my blazers tailored, which I think is on my like list, like tailoring your clothes. Not that I've done one yet, but I want to. Blazers, dislike, tailoring, like. And the last I want to end this video on, because it's so cute and immediately went in my like column when I saw it, is the idea of a knit and talk. It's like going to a coffee shop with friends, or it's going to like a third space, basically a public space. Both of you bringing like your knit balls and your needles and stuff, and just sitting there with a coffee, with food, whatever, and just like talking while you knit. Because I think like the idea of making knitting a social thing, like something that people do that's not sitting there scrolling on your phone and stuff, is going to heal society if we make it mainstream. And I'm not even joking. Like, I just think it's such a cute thing. But yeah, that is my ins and outs of autumn 2024, or my likes and dislikes list. I don't know what we're calling it still. But I hope you found this fun. I'd like to know what's on your ins and out list for autumn. So yeah, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and I will speak to you really soon. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.